So, welcome to a new video of 1d6. Today we'll be talking about Gloomhaven. As you can see, we did a very minute setup of the game.
Yes.
And why are we talking about Gloomhaven?
Well, we finally finished the campaign after playing Gloomhaven for 3 years.
Yeah.
Almost 3 years, I guess.
Yeah.
And we finished the campaign and we're finally ready to share our thoughts on the game. So let's roll the trailer and jump right into this. So where to start in this epic campaign game? Well, let's start at the characters.
Sure.
I thought this was pretty original because sure, all the usual suspects are there, all the archetypes you know from the
Fantasy world
are in Gloomhaven, but I think they did something original here because there are a lot of different types.
Sure.
And within every character type, you can choose your own path. You can carve your character to your liking. And I think they did it pretty well. You can choose your own weapons. You can modify your modifier deck. You can choose your own abilities within the cards you're going to play.
Sure.
So there's a lot of customization within a character. And of course, over the campaign, during the campaign, you can choose new characters.
Or acquire new characters.
Yeah, so I think that is a really big plus for me in Gloomhaven.
Yeah, I think I can agree. When you start the game, you just choose a character and you pretty much have no idea.
Yeah.
It's a box with a symbol on it, and that is the one you've chosen. And then you will explore what kind of unit you chose.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool mechanic, and that is a feature that is throughout the game. When you reach a new character, there is again this box and this symbol, and you have no idea what it is going to be. Is it something that is useful in your party?
Yeah, it's a kind of a small present you're opening up, and it's really exciting to experience a new character. It's very fun that there are different characters and there's a lot to choose from. Not every character is as fun to play as other characters, but how many characters are there? I think 12 different characters or something. Yeah. So of course that is in the game, but overall this is a really strong point from Gloomhaven.
What I really liked about Gloomhaven, or at least with the characters, is the way when a new character is introduced, there is a card that is also going into the story mode of the game.
Yeah.
And once a character retires, there is also a card that is going into the game. So at certain points you will meet your old pals during the campaign. And although it is just a little slimmer of fun, or at least of storyline.
Yeah.
It also triggers something.
Yeah, I really liked it. What you're talking about is the city event deck and the road event deck, and I really like that mechanic because you have changed the history or the events within Gloomhaven, and you can read it all back in those cards. And I really like that. It was one of the highlights from a campaign evening. Okay, what's happening? Oh, I hope it's something new that we're gonna discover something. Yeah, and I really liked that part of the story. But the other story, the main story, I liked it, but it wasn't very present for me in the game. It wasn't a good mixture of gameplay and storytelling for me. So you have an overall map with several points of interest on the map you can visit. Each point of interest is a dungeon.
Yeah,
and all is bound together with a very flimsy story. And one of the things I didn't like is, okay, you get a chunk of story at the start of your game, at the start of when you enter the dungeon, and that's it. And then you play an hour, 2 hours perhaps, and maybe you get a really flimsy part of the story, and finally at the end you get a conclusion, and that's it. And
Yeah, I do have to break in a little bit here because yes, I fully agree, and no, I don't fully agree, because there is a difference between, for at least my understanding of the game, the start, where this with Jack Sarah there was a clear line and you really knew what to do, and the storyline really that was logical, and somewhere during the game you will find a lot more of points of interest.
Yeah, side quests. Yeah, but because the story isn't there all the time, I disconnected with the story.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, what was the main quest again? I'm not quite sure. Don't really care. I wasn't that invested in the story, and I think that is a really missed opportunity here.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, Gloomhaven isn't by now the newest game.
No.
And some people will definitely try to shoot me when they see me on the street, but Gloomhaven could learn something of truth from here.
Oh, no comments, no comments.
And of course those games are totally different, and they're not. But in Truthfang there is so much more storyline, and that keeps you
keeps you invested.
Keeps you invested. And here is exactly, there's a point A, maybe a point B, and there's
the in-between point.
Yeah, the in-between point, and then it's the end of the
dungeon.
The dungeon. Done. And after a while we figured, hey, wait a minute, we got this book. We never took a look at that book, so maybe we should do that. and then we started to play. Yeah,
that's true. That's another thing. What I really liked about the game is that, of course, it's a dungeon crawler. In essence, it's a very big dungeon crawler. But the in-between parts can be quite fun too. You have your character development, you go shopping in Gloomhaven. Of course, you have your road and city events, which we've already talked about. But you also have little other small things. For instance, the story booklet you're talking about, the city booklet. Yeah, you can discover more about the history of Gloomhaven, which is kind of fun. And you also have the tree. The tree where you need to spend coins. And you can make Gloomhaven prosperous.
Yeah, more prosperous.
Yeah, prosperous. Thanks. That's also quite interesting, and maybe I would have to see more of that. More city building or more development on the story. It was a little bit too light for me, but the parts that were there were quite fun, and I really like that. And if we're going to play Frosthaven, I hope they have increased that part of the game for me.
Yeah, I guess they did, because there is something with city building.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but we haven't experienced it yet, but we'll see. That will be in another video.
On character development, something I really liked, but I also really disliked, is the ability with every card there might be the option to enhance it.
Oh yeah.
So you could buy or you could buy extra strength, or you could buy all
you
kinds
need to
of
explain
things.
it. So you have a deck of cards. Those are your abilities during combat, and you can place stickers upon them.
Yeah.
There are dedicated slots where you can put stickers. So some cards don't have these slots, but you can put different stickers on them, and some give you more movement, the other gives you a poison ability, there are all kind of different stickers with different costs for them.
Yeah.
And I think the idea is quite fun. Massive potential here. Yeah. But it was so expensive in the game doing that we did other things with our money. We bought equipment and
And that's also very logical because those cards are again very expensive, but you also know that at a certain point your character might retire.
Yeah.
So why invest in those cards
You
when
can't sell. Yeah.
you can't sell them,
No,
but
no,
you
exactly.
can sell your equipment
Yeah.
for a new character so that you at least have some new gold to continue with your new character.
Yes.
So, and you know, of course, a level 9 card to develop it, I understand that it is more expensive.
Yes.
But, you know, a level 4 card and just giving it a status effect was already somewhere around 100 coins or something.
Yeah.
You know, when most of the game you are only able to acquire a 2 or 3 times coin. So when you pick up a coin, there's a conversion table, and for us it was somewhere between 2 and 3. You know, you need to really stack a lot of coins to get there.
It's
and
expensive.
we were able to buy a sticker at.
When we passed the midst of the game, I think.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
we did. I bought my first sticker in the last mission, or the
Yes.
the one before that.
Well, they're actually pretty valuable because you can use them over and over again. I really like that, but yeah, I think the investment was steep in this particular situation. So, yeah.
On equipment, equipment was a little bit all over the place. You know, your stamina potion is a godlike item.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, sometimes you get items from a mission, and then you think, well, this must be this shit.
Yeah.
And then you get it, and you think, wow.
Yeah, they're really situational. For instance, there's equipment out there that works along with certain elements. For instance, the air element, and but you can have a character that doesn't work with an air element. So yeah, it doesn't work for you. So it's fine. You finally unlock that golden chest where you beaten hundreds of enemies for. And you get this kind of equipment that really doesn't work for your character. No. How did you experience the combat?
Well, I really enjoyed combat. The way you can adjust your deck, because every character has its own deck. The way that you can try to mitigate the enemy deck by filling it with curses in certain situations.
Yeah, that's later on.
Pretty useful.
Yeah, that's later on in the game.
But the little decks, I really like that. I really like
enemy AI decks.
No. Oh. Your own attack deck.
The modifier deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I really like that.
Yeah.
The enemy deck, or those cards, at first, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there, because they can do strange things at certain points. Yeah, I like the combat situation. There are some things with big dungeons and lots of enemies. Yeah, of course I can understand that sometimes it needs to be hard, but again, with the wrong party you never are able to crack certain dungeons, and that feels a little bit random.
Yeah, I think overall we had a success rate from about 80%, yes. And I think that is fine too in a campaign game, because you don't need to win every game, and it gives a little bit of
it needs to be hard.
Yeah, it needs to be hard. I think the game didn't scale that well.
No.
So at the beginning it was quite hard to beat enemies, but once you level up and you get different characters, it got easier over time.
Certainly.
Of course, you get a lot more experience as a player. That helps too. But I think the end characters within the game are way more powerful than the beginning characters.
Definitely.
And of course, the enemies level too. So if you're level 1 yourself, your enemies are also level 1, and that works fine. But the curve mismatches somewhere. They tend to widen, and I think it got more easy over time. I think every character we had in the end was almost able to kill a single enemy at once, or perhaps do it 75% of the total damage it could handle.
Apart from the Bard, but sure, we together we could.
I think the combat and everything is fine. If you have a lot of enemies, I tend to like the zombicide kind of game more.
Yeah.
So a single slash to clear out hordes of enemies. I really like that. Or the other way around with really big and beefy bosses that are tense battles, more like a boss battler game.
Definitely.
And this is a bit in the middle of these two kind of games, so you don't have the really smushy enemies, but you also don't have the really hard boss fights.
No, definitely.
Yeah, well, of course, I've watched a lot of videos on Gloomhaven before I bought the actual game. And one of the things I was really interested in was that they told me that every dungeon is a kind of a puzzle. You have to approach every dungeon differently, and it all works very different. And they work different, and sometimes you have a lot of enemies, and sometimes you have just a few but really big enemies. That's different, and sometimes you have to go to a certain point and don't need to defeat those enemies. So there is some variety here, but it didn't think they were totally different and were all separate different puzzles from each other. It felt more like, okay, those details are a bit different here, those details are a bit different there.
Indeed, a lot of missions were just, okay, so you need to run and gun, or you need to slay them all.
Yeah.
And well, if that is the option, then there isn't really much of a puzzle.
Okay, it's quite fun. I really like the AI decks of the enemies. I think that's quite fun, and those give a lot of variety to the game, and there are a lot of different enemies within the game. That's also a big plus for me. Overall, I think the combat is fine.
Yeah.
Fine to good, maybe, perhaps. But I think the overall sense of the game makes it feel more complete. I think the elements by themselves could have been more connected to each other by having a good present story during the game that constantly takes you by the hand and leads you through the whole thing. And that's where the game felt a bit loosey to me. But our viewers can watch tons of positive reviews out there. I think everybody's ecstatic about Gloomhaven.
No, definitely.
And we're too. We really like the game, but there are some minor flaws within the game that we need to address here.
No, definitely, because I think one of the glaring things was we knew, because somebody couldn't really hold himself in, we knew we were at the end, but we didn't know if we didn't know.
No. Oh yeah, that was an issue. Well, if I can make the comparison to Truthfam once more, I really like the ending of Truthfam, because the game took a turn, or the story took a turn, and it was very it was a big surprise at the end, and I really liked that. And it was another battle. Oh no, it's more epic. It's not even more epic. I really liked the ending of the game, and I thought the ending of Gloomhaven was so. I liked the end battle in the game.
Definitely.
I enjoyed it, but there was quite a longer end story to the dungeon. But after that, nothing.
No,
nothing.
It wasn't even clear.
No.
That the game was run out.
No, we needed to check Board Game Geek for it.
Yeah. And that in of itself, is it a bad thing? Well, yeah, I think it is, because you know, I think I do appreciate it that they give you the option to just
continue.
Keep on roaming the world.
Yeah.
But you can also say that, you know, you can also say, well, congratulations, you've finished the main storyline, and if you would like, you can still go and do the other ones.
Yeah.
But now it was just, is this it?
No, yeah.
But what? Okay. Well, that's okay. Well, let's back it up then.
Yeah. Totally agree on that part. So hopefully in Frosthaven it will be better. But the overall experience is just great. It's just a really fun, big game that will keep you invested for hours and hours.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I maybe enjoyed most was not playing it on the table, but playing it in my head.
Yeah.
How I was going to
what I'm going to do the next time.
Yes.
And how am I going to develop my character?
Exactly.
Oh, I really
that
like that.
That was something I really enjoyed. Thinking about it and thinking about, well, will I go and ask the guys if we will go for that mission so I can
complete my personal quest?
Exactly. Or shouldn't I?
Yeah.
And if I would, do I have a clue what kind of character I might be going to play?
Yeah.
That is something which is done masterfully.
What I also really like is the small steps you take by developing your character, because every time there is something new to experience. Okay, you bought a new sword. Oh, okay, you're gonna try it in the next combat. Oh, you have different modifier cards in your deck. Well, hopefully you can see them in the next combat. And every time you have something new to look forward to. And I think that is a really strong point from the game. I think overall we spent over 100 hours playing this game.
Definitely.
And that requires a dedicated gaming group. Yeah. Because we started Gloomhaven with four players, but one dropped and we continued the campaign. And I think that is a really good decision here. Yeah. Because I think the game is better suited for 3 players than 4 players because it gets a bit sluggish.
Definitely.
And overall we were invested the whole campaign. Maybe in the middle of the campaign we lost a bit of interest here, but overall I think it's just a great experience. And I also bought Frosthaven to continue it. We're not going to play this back to back, but we'll visit it when the time comes, and I think we'll have a great time playing that game.
I think that too. I do also hope that they improve certain aspects of the game.
Yeah, they should.
All in all, I would rate the game at a 7.5.
I would rate it a 8.5 out of 10 because I'm more the Ameritrash gamer, I guess. But I really like the overall feeling that kept me hooked on the game, and what you already told us. That you're thinking when you're not playing Gloomhaven on Gloomhaven, that's really a big compliment to the game, that it keeps you invested even if you're not playing. Okay, I'm so looking forward to my next play. What am I going to do? And very few games give me that experience.
Definitely. No, I think it's just all down to because I really like stories, so it's part of the story. It's part of the randomness that the game tends to have, and the added weight of the inability at sometimes of your party and the mix of your party, which you don't really always tend to be able to hold together. So those 3 points make it a 7.5.
That's all? Any remarks? Any final thoughts you want to share here?
No, I am looking forward at our next game.
Yeah, me too. That will be Tainted Grail. But we'll give a full review once we finish that game. But that will be in
4 years.
4 years from now, yeah. So I hope you like this video. Please comment on this video. Tell us what you think about Gloomhaven. Did we skip any parts? Do you agree on our opinion, or did we totally miss something? Leave your remarks on this video, give a thumbs up, and even consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.